Hi, everyone, and welcome to another hard-hitting episode of
The Dungeon Crashers.
I'm Guy.
And I'm Zapeel. And before we get started, let's hit that like and subscribe button and get that bell on if you want to be notified when we post new videos. Today we are doing a build based around a suggestion from Scott Jefferson, who wanted a melee spellcaster. We were scratching our heads about this at first because we have done a lot of melee casters. It is one of our favorite things to do. After reading the rest of the comment, it made more sense. What he wants is a character that doesn't use spells to be a better fighter, but one that uses spells for melee combat, such as inflict wounds. This seems like a fun idea. From his comment, it seems that he's thinking of something from Street Fighter games. We are more Mortal Kombat fans, so this is going to be a little on the darker side. We will be making some actual melee attacks as well, but we will, for the most part, be using our casting ability for those. We are also going to be using the opportunity to explore some things we haven't used before in our videos. Although we are revisiting the Spore Druid that we used in Who Do the Voodoo video, link up in the corner, but only for a few levels. For race, we will be using something we haven't used before and something from the monsters of the multiverse, and we are going to use the Githzuri. They are a race that is originally enslaved by mind flayers and then escaped to the plane of Limbo and have been migrating to other planes. They have the ability boost common with monsters of the multiverse, which is 3+1 ability boost that you can put anywhere, but no more than a +2 on a single ability. They are a humanoid, and they are medium sized and get 30-foot movement speed. They have a mental discipline, which gives them advantage on saves against being frightened or charmed, and psychic resilience, giving them resistance to psychic damage. They also get Githzuri psionics. They gain the mage hand cantrip, and it is invisible. Also at 3rd level, they can cast shield and detect thoughts once per long rest, and those spells become known to them.
Mm-hmm. And for background, we are using the Witherbloom student background from Strixhaven Campus of Chaos. Strixhaven is a setting based on a school of magic, and there are different colleges there, one of which is Witherbloom, which is based around life and death magic. Both druids and necromancers study there, as well as other classes that have an interest in those things. Unlike most backgrounds, this gives quite a few advantages. First, it gives the Strixhaven Initiate feat for free. We must choose the Witherbloom option, which gives us a choice of 2 cantrips from among Spare the Dying, Druidcraft, and Chill Touch. Normally I would take Chill Touch and Spare the Dying, but we're going to get Chill Touch for free later, so we'll take Druidcraft instead. It also gives us 1 first-level Druid or Wizard spell that we can cast once for long rest, and it becomes known to us. As we already have Shield from being a Githzuri, and want to use the Wizard list, some good choices would be Silvery Barbs, Chromatic Orb, and Protection from Good and Evil. I like Chromatic Orb. We're primarily a melee character, but we'll need a range attack spell, and this is a good one. We aren't choosing from the Druid list because we will be taking Druid levels. Mm-hmm. The background also gives us proficiency with Nature and Survival and an Herbalism kit, also one language of our choice. We also get spells added to the lists of any spellcasting classes we have at certain levels, and we'll detail those when we get there.
Mm-hmm. For abilities, we put a 10 on Strength. We won't be needing it, but a negative seems out of place. A 15 on Dexterity, and we'll make it 16 with the bonus. 13 on Constitution, and we'll make it 14 with the bonus. 15 on Wisdom, and we'll make it 16 with our last bonus. 10 on Intelligence, because negative would hurt us using Nature and our Herbalism kit. It's not a priority, but could come in handy. And we will be putting an 8 on Charisma. We aren't going to be getting any social skills, and I don't really see this character being friendly or outgoing. A little for our Intimidate might be okay, but we'll just let our actions speak for themselves. At 1st level, we'll be starting off with Monk, mostly for unarmored defense. We will do some unarmed attacks, but are primarily using spells for combat. We get 2 skills from the Monk list, and we want Acrobatics and Stealth. We see this character as a shadowy figure with an agile fighting style. Unarmored defense gives us an AC of 10 plus our Dexterity and Wisdom modifiers, so 16 at this level. We also get Martial Arts. We can use a D4 instead of our normal damage for a weapon or unarmed strike. This dice will improve as we level up. We can use our Dexterity for attacks with unarmed strikes or monk weapons, and when we take an attack action with an unarmed strike or monk weapon, we can make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. At 2nd level, we take 1st level of Druid. We learn to speak Druidic, which is a language spoken only by Druids, and we also get spell casting. We are prepared casters and can prepare a number of spells equal to our level plus our wisdom modifier. And we also know 2 cantrips of our choice from the druid list. We want Shillelagh, which allows us to make a staff or club magical for 1 minute using a bonus action. It deals a d8 damage and uses our wisdom modifier for damage. Currently, this isn't too useful as our dexterity and wisdom are the same, but as we level up, it'll help us out. We also want Primal Savagery. This will be our first melee spell that gives us a claw or bite that we can use as a melee spell attack, dealing 1d10 acid damage on a hit. This damage will increase as we level up. For prepared spells, our background adds Cure and Inflict Wounds to the Druid list for us, and we will want to prepare both. Inflict Wounds allows us a melee spell attack and deals 3d10 necrotic damage, and at higher levels, we will want to upcast it, adding another d10 per level of spell slot after the first. We also want to prepare Absorb Elements and Thunder Wave. We could also prepare Healing Word instead of Cure Wounds if we intend to use healing in combat. Also, we can cast the Chromatic Orb we got from our background using our Druid spell slots. We can use the Druidic Focus for our spell casting, and it can be, among other things, a wooden wand, a staff, or a rod. We are going to be using the rod, and ask your DM if we can use it as a club so it can be our melee weapon as well.
And at 3rd level, we take 2nd level Druid. We get Wild Shape, allowing us to transform into a beast of challenge rating quarter twice per rest, but we aren't going to use this much, because we also get our Druid Circle, and we're taking Circle of Spores. We get surrounded by a halo of spores that we can use if a creature moves into or starts its turn in a space within 10 feet of us. We can use our reaction to deal a d4 necrotic damage to it. We can also use one of our Wild Shapes to activate the spores for 10 minutes, gaining 4 temporary hit points per Druid level. And when we activate our halo of spores, it deals an extra dice of damage, and all our melee attacks deal an extra d6 of damage. This will apply to our attacks with Shillelagh and unarmed strikes, but not with melee spell attacks like Inflict Wounds or Primal Savagery. From our circle spells, we gain the Chill Touch cantrip. We can also prepare another spell and have another 1st level spell slot, and we now get Shield and Detect Thoughts from Githeri Psionics and can cast them with our Druid slots. At 4th level, we take 3rd level Druid, getting another 1st and 2 2nd level spell slots, and we can prepare one more spell, so 6 total, and they can be 2nd level. We get Lesser Restoration and Wither and Bloom added to our list from our background, but they're already on the Druid list. We do want to prepare Wither and Bloom, which is also from Strixhaven, which deals necrotic damage and allows us or an ally to use one of their hit dice to heal. Another good option for a melee attack is Flame Blade. It conjures a scimitar of flame to appear in our hand for 10 minutes, depending on concentration, that deals 3d6 fire damage. This is pretty good, but remember our cantrips improve at this level, so Primal Savagery will deal 2d10, so this might not be worth it. We can also upcast Inflict Wounds to deal 3d10 necrotic damage with a melee spell attack. From our circle spells, we get Blindness, Deafness, and Gentle Repose. I've never found a good use for Deafness, but Blindness is one of the most powerful things you can do to an enemy. It cripples them in combat, and it's even worse on spellcasters who usually have to see a target in order to cast a spell. At 5th level, we take 4th level Druid. Our Wild Shape improves here, but as we aren't a Moon Druid, we won't be using it for combat, but it can be useful in other situations. We also get another 2nd level spell slot and compare one more spell. We learn another cantrip, and we want Thorn Whip, giving us another good spell attack that can also pull our foes into melee. Best of all, we get an ability boost that we're going to take on Wisdom, improving our spell attacks, save DCs, and our melee attacks with Shillelagh are now better than using Dexterity. We still need to use Dexterity for our unarmed strikes, for now at least. And at 6th level, we get 5th level Druid, gaining 2 3rd level slots, and can prepare 3rd level spells. Revivify and Vampiric Touch are added to our spell list. Druids already get Revivify, but Vampiric Touch is perfect for us. We can make melee spell attack dealing 3d6 necrotic damage and healing half the damage we deal. We can do this every round for up to a minute, depending on concentration. The damage isn't great as we have cantrips that do comparable damage, but the self-healing added to it can be very useful. Our circle spells are Animate Dead and Gaseous Form. Animate Dead doesn't really fit in with what we're doing, but Gaseous Form is always good to have, especially when we get it prepared for free. Elemental Weapon is an interesting choice. I'm not sure why it's a 3rd level spell and is basically a weaker version of Hunter's Mark, but it does give a +1 to attack rolls, and we can choose the elemental damage type. And since this will work along with our symbiotic entity, it could well be worth doing.
At 7th level, we'll go back to Monk for 2nd level, getting key points. We get 2 at this level and 1 every level after this, and we will spend it on various things. Currently, we can use 1 key point to Flurry of Blows, allowing us to make 2 unarmed attacks as a bonus action after taking an attack action. Patient Defense, which allows us to use Dodge as a bonus action, giving us attacks against us disadvantage, or Step of the Wind, letting us dash or disengage as a bonus action, and when we do, our jump distance is doubled. Also, our movement increases by 10 feet. At 8th level, we will be taking 3rd level of Monk, getting our monastic tradition, and we want the Way of the Astral Self. This fits nicely with our race, as well as our combat style. As a bonus action, we could spend 1 key point to summon the arms of our astral self. These arms either appear on our shoulders or cover our natural arms. I like the second one. When they appear, each creature of our choice within 10 feet must make a dex save or take damage equal to 2 rolls of our martial arts die. The arms stay for up to 10 minutes, and while they are up, we can use our wisdom instead of strength when making strength checks or saves. This includes shoving, grappling, lifting, or breaking things. We can use the arms to make unarmed strikes, and when they do, they have an additional 5 feet of reach, and we can use our wisdom instead of strength or dexterity when making these attacks. So now we can do pretty much everything with wisdom. We also get deflect missiles, allowing us to use our reaction when attacked with a missile weapon to reduce the damage by 1d10 plus our dexterity modifier and our monk level, and if we reduce the damage to 0, we can throw it back as if it were a monk weapon with a short range of 20 feet and a max range of 60 feet. At 9th level, we take 4th level of Monk, getting an ability booster feat. It would be good to cap our Wisdom here, but instead let's take the Fey Touched feat. It gives us a +1 to our Wisdom, and we also learn Misty Step spell and can cast it for free once per long rest, and 1 first level enchantment or divination spell that we can also cast for free once per long rest, and we want either Hunter's Mark or Hex. I like Hex better, but either will work, and we were preparing elemental weapon, we shouldn't need it anymore. We also get slow fall, allowing us to reduce falling damage by 5 times our monk level. At 10th level, we'll be taking 5th level of monk, getting extra attack and stunning strike. Extra attack lets us make 2 attacks instead of 1 when taking an attack action. Usually we would want this ability earlier, but we were still going to be using our spell attacks for a lot of our melee fighting. Stunning Strike lets us use a key point when we hit with a melee weapon attack to force the target to make a Constitution save DC 8 plus Wisdom modifier plus proficiency bonus, or be stunned until the end of our next turn. Our martial arts die becomes a D6 here as well. At 11th level, we'll be taking 6th level of Monk, getting Key and Powered Strikes, making our unarmed strikes magical for overcoming damage resistance. From our monastic tradition, we get Visage of Astral Self. We can spend 1 key point to summon it for 10 minutes, and it appears as a mask over our face. It gives us Astrosight, allowing us to see normally in darkness, both normal and magical, for up to 120 feet. Wisdom of the Spirit, which gives us advantage on insight intimidation checks. Choice of the Spirit, allowing us to either speak with creatures within 60 feet that it can only hear us, or amplify our voice so everyone within 600 feet can hear us. Our cantrips improve here again, adding another damage dice, and our unarmored movement bonus increases to 15 feet. At 12th level, we'll be taking 7th level of Monk. We get Evasion. When we make a dex save against effect that would allow us to save for half, we instead take none. If we don't save, we still only take half. We also get Stillness of Mind, allowing us to use an action to end any effects that are charming or frightening us. Combined with our Githzuri resistance, this gives us an excellent protection for that sort of thing. At 13th level, we take 8th and final level of Monk, getting another ability booster feat, and we'll be taking the Shadow Touched feat. This gives us another +1 to Wisdom, capping it off at 20. We also learn Invisibility as a spell and can cast it for free once per long rest, and 1 first level Necromancy or Illusion spell that we can also cast for free once per long rest, and Ray of Sickness can be a very useful spell. The 2d8 damage isn't really worth an action or a spell slot at this level. On a failed Constitution save, the target is poisoned until the end of our next turn, and poisoning an enemy, even for a turn, can have a nice effect.
Now we're going to finish out the build with Druid, and at 14th level we'll take 6th level of Druid, and from Circle of Spores we get Fungal Infestation. When an enemy dies within 10 feet of us, if it is small or a medium beast or humanoid, we can use our reaction to animate it as a zombie with 1 hit point that stays animated for 1 hour or until it is killed. It takes its turn right after ours, it obeys our middle commands, but the only action it can take is the attack action, making 1 attack. The cool part is that we can do this a number of times per day equal to our wisdom modifier, and it doesn't say we can't have more than 1 at a time. Making zombies isn't what we're trying to do with this character build, but this is definitely cool, even though at this level the zombies aren't going to be very useful. We also get another 3rd level spell slot, and our damage from our Halo of Spores becomes a d6. At 15th level, we take 7th level Druid, getting a 4th level spell slot, and can prepare 4th level spells. From our background, we get Blight and Death Ward added to our Druid list, but Blight is already on the Druid list. And we also get it as a circle spell, so we always have it prepared. Our other circle spell is Confusion, which is a nice spell to get prepared for free. 4th level spells have a lot to offer us. In addition to Blight, we also have Guardian Nature, and the Tree Form is great for us, giving us advantage on Dexterity and Wisdom-based attacks, which for us is all of our attacks. advantage on constitution saves, 10 temporary hit points, and it makes the ground within 15 feet of us difficult terrain for our enemies, making it harder to run away from the beating we're going to drop on them. Stone Skin is also great, although expensive spell, giving us resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. The 100 gold pieces worth of diamond dust does make this less appealing.
Yeah.
At 16th level, we take 8th level Druid, getting an ability booster feat, and we need hit points, so we will boost our constitution to 16. We also get another 4th level spell slot, and another improvement to our wild shape. At 17th level, we take 9th level Druid, getting another 4th level spell slot, a 5th level spell slot, and can prepare 5th level spells. From our background, Anti-Life Shell and Greater Restoration are added to the Druid list for us, but both are already there. Our circle spells are Contagion and Cloud Kill. Cloud Kill is good to have prepared for free because it often isn't worth preparing because it's hard to find good situations to use it in. But when it is useful, it's really good, and since we always have it prepared, we can be looking for those opportunities. Contagion seems like it'd be good for us. It is a melee spell attack, and it poisons the target if they fail a con save, but they get another save on each turn to end the spell. A lot of monsters have good constitution saves. The upside is that they fail 3 of these saves, we get to inflict them with a disease, and all the options are pretty strong, but not strong enough to justify all the hoops you have to go through and spending a 5th level spell slot. Now, good spells for us at this level is Wrath of Nature and Mass Cure Wounds, but we will often be using these slots for upcasting Inflict Wounds or Cure Wounds, and our cantrips improve a final time here, adding another dice of damage. And at 18th level, we take 10th level Druid. From Circle of Spores, we get the Spreading Spores ability, allowing us to turn our halo of spores into a 10-foot cube anywhere within 30 feet that lasts for a minute. While it is up, we can't use our halo of spores reaction, but creatures that enter or start their turn in the cube must make a constitution save or take our halo of spores damage. This could give us some useful battlefield control. We also get another 5th level spell slot and learn another cantrip, and Produce Flame and Thunderclap are both good choices.
At 19th level, we're taking 11th level of Druid, getting a 6th level spell slot and can prepare 6th level spells. We no longer get any new circle spells or spells from our background, but we do get Heal, which is always great. Bones of Earth and the Investiture spells could also be good choices. It's a shame Druids don't get Harm. That would be ideal for this character. At 20th level, we get another 6th level spell slot and a final ability booster feat. There are a few ways we could go. You could get more Constitution, or the Tough feat would help out a lot, but our Dexterity would help out with our armor class and saves and attacks. I would go with more hit points, but in this case, a case could be made for either. We hope Scott Jefferson likes the way we went with this, and it can do a lot of damage with melee cantrips and melee spell attacks, and with Shillelagh and Astral arms can also use its wisdom to do straight melee weapon attacks. As a druid, it can also be a solid healer and support character without taking away from its other abilities, simply by preparing a few spells. Also, with both stealth and wild shape, it can be an excellent scout. We hope everyone watching enjoyed it. Please leave a question, comment, or build idea in the comment section below. And we love hearing from you guys. Anything you say, we try to respond to as fast as we possibly can. Be sure to join us next time when we build our take on a single class paladin. So join us for that. And until next time, cheers.